Hi, my name's Alex Shaw, and I'm the author of Total Blackout. Total Blackout is about a new type of terrorist attack on the US. There is a type of weapon called an electromagnetic pulse bomb, an EMP, and when that is detonated, it destroys anything that has an electro processor. So things with wires just don't work. Things that are wired stop working. And basically, it's a way of turning the switch off. And it's about a guy called Tate who was on holiday in the US at the time and gets embroiled in the terrorist plot. And he just so happens to be former SAS. What does my writing routine look like? As I have two small sons, although they wouldn't like me to call them small, now they're 10 and 12. My writing routine, it normally happens when they're at school. So I will do my dad duties. And then once I'm back at home, I will, hopefully, if I'm not told to clean the house, I will be writing during the day. I'll have a writing session in the morning. And then in the afternoon, maybe do a bit of research, write a bit more, and then go and pick my sons up again. Sometimes I write in the evening, but generally during the day. Years ago, I used to like to write on location as well. I remember I've written scenes sitting in Gorky Park in Moscow. I've written scenes next to the Ukrainian intelligence agency's headquarters, the SBU. I've written scenes set in there, sitting next to it. And so I used to try and write on location, but now because of the lockdown and because we're back in the UK, I generally just write at home. But I want to try and get out more now, now that things are easy. Other than being a writer, what would my dream job be? I used to want to be an actor when I was very young. Although my dad says I wanted to be a milkman, I obviously can't remember that. But I wanted to be. I can't remember at all. But yeah, I wanted to be an actor. So I was the one at university, or sorry, at Sixth Form College. Who used to walk around wearing black. And then at the university, I had a drama degree, and I wanted to be the actor. And then I thought, you know what? At least writing is acting for kind of shy people, isn't it? I think they kind of overlap. But if I couldn't be an actor, I don't know. I've always fancied being a Formula One racing driver or a tennis player. In real life, what's my kind of adventure? My kind of adventure is going somewhere different and new and exciting. I love travel. I love foreign languages. I just love new experiences, and so I just like going somewhere different to just kind of see, what makes people tick there. Really, that's my kind of adventure. What's the best thing about being a writer? The best thing about being a writer, in my opinion, is the ability to actually decide what your reader's going to look at, what your reader's going to focus on. You pick a topic, you pick a subject, you pick a place, or you pick a person, and you just write about them. And unlike a television or a film where the director can persuade you to try and look at something specific, because you're going down to very minute details, word by word. Writing, you can actually focus the reader to say, look at this is what I'm trying to make you look at. I'm trying to make you understand that. But it's very important that once you do that, you actually entertain the reader. What's the hardest thing about being a writer? Sometimes it can be a lonely job. I think that's the worst, the downside, and I think that's something that kind of can affect us all. Really, I'm quite lucky because I'm probably too active on Facebook. A lot of people I interact with there. Some of them are old friends I've just discovered again, and others are colleagues, writers, etc. And some people they're readers. But yes, the loneliness, I think, is probably the downside of being a writer. You can't really explain what it is you're working on, because no one else can really understand what you're trying to say. Which books and authors have influenced me and why? The earliest book I can remember, the earliest author actually I can remember that really kind of had an impact on me was Clive Cussler. And oddly enough, it's because my aunt used to read Clive Cussler's novels. And I think I was about 11 or so, and I picked one up, and I just read an extract from it, and it was the way it described the landscape, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. And so that kind of made me think about how you can use words to describe places and people and moods. But if we go kind of more recently, authors that have really kind of inspired me, really kind of shown me what kind of really good location writing is. There's a guy called Jake Needham, and his books are based in Southeast Asia. And he has two different series. One is about a guy, Samuel Tate, who's a cop based in Singapore. Another one's about a guy called Jack Shepherd, who's a lawyer living in Bangkok and Hong Kong. And it really gives a flavor for the region. Another guy who's been really important is a guy called Stephen Leather, a British author called Stephen Leather. And he's the reason why I went on Facebook, because I was a fan of his writing. He said, if you're on Facebook, we can kind of interact more, etc. And that's where I kind of put more information up. And he really guided me in my early career, And then of course, getting to kind of more, last couple of years or so, some writers who I really do kind of love their work. There's a guy called Tom Wood, who writes about a guy called Victor the Assassin. Mark Greaney, who has a series about a guy called the Grey Man. But each of these books, they're set in several locations, and they kind of give you a real feeling of the place. What's the best advice somebody gave me about writing? The best advice somebody's ever given me about writing is to write. Now, it's very easy. It's very easy to kind of sit there and think, what does he mean to write? But when you think about it, a lot of people out there think they can write. I mean, make excuses. I never have the time, or I don't have any ideas. But the first step is just literally sit down with a pen and a piece of paper and make bullet points and then scribble your ideas down. Because once you've written something on paper or you've typed something, it exists. It's no longer in your head. So the best advice is just write. Just try to write. You don't need to show anybody. And if you do and they don't like it, that's their opinion. Doesn't mean it's a fact.